Hello, hello. So here I am with a cozy nighttime book haul. This just shit just need to be done. Okay. I just had a massive amount of books here to haul. I'm stacking shit on the outsides. Cause what I do is I have a TBR cart and the bottom is for my book haul books. And theoretically when I fill the bottom and I do a book haul, I have more than filled the bottom. This is in really no particular order. Um so I don't really, these are mixed of, I went to Barnes and Noble once, a lot of eBay, some other stuff. Some of these I don't have really anything to say about, so some of them might go by pretty fast. Some of them I have more to say about. So let's just get rolling. I think this first stack's gonna be the most interesting, so we'll start there. First up, I have Given Volume 4 by Natsuki Kizu, and this is really the best BL manga that's ever existed, probably. It is the feeling of all those sports mangas that, don't deliver on that front, but then this one does deliver on that front. It's about a band, and it's adorable. I really enjoyed volumes 1 through 3. I'm excited to continue on. After that, I do have Lord of the Flies. You might be saying, Aurora, you've read Lord of the Flies so many goddamn times. What I'm saying is that this is the one book that I'll collect multiple editions of. And so I was in Barnes & Noble, and I was like, I wonder if they have any editions of Lord of the Flies that I don't have. And they did. It was this one. They actually had 2, but I only bought one of them because I just love Lord of the Flies. This was an introduction by E.M. Forster, which is interesting. But yeah, I got this. I love Lord of the Flies. Then I have a illustrated, adapted classic, Anne of Green Gables, and then I also have stories from the Old and New Testament. These are books that were in a lot of books I got from my classroom, actually, but there were multiple copies of Anne of Green Gables, and I'm not going to put this in a public school, so that's why I have those. Then I've got some manga. I have Rosario Vampire Season 2, Volume 5. I'm really not sure exactly where this is in the chronology. I watched the first season of the show, I feel. So I'm not sure exactly where this fits in. Because it does say season 2, which is weird, but I did get it. I also got Dekoboko Sugar Days, Volume 1. Unfortunately, it is in German, so we'll just see how that goes. Alright, then I've got Island in a Puddle by Kei Sambe. I'm not a huge fan of Kei Sambe. This is Volume 1 of this. I read, what was it called? To the Boy I Saw in My Dreams. I didn't like it. I thought it was boring. I didn't like the art style, and I just wasn't a fan of it. Hopefully this is better, but I don't have very, very high hopes. I've got Blue Exorcist Volume 2. I've got Jujutsu Kaisen Volume 5. I've got Spy Family Volume 2, which is a series I'm actually reading. So this is exciting. This is actually the next book in the series that I'm on. I read the first volume, so now I can, read Volume 2. Then I've got Swan Song by Robert McCammon. This has been compared too many times to The Stand for me to pass up on reading it. I've been keeping my eye out for it for a while. I know it was out of print for a while, but then it recently was republished, and I saw this in Barnes & Noble, and I was like, yes, this is what we are grabbing. It's floppy. All right, next we got By Any Other Name by Aaron Cotter, which takes place in Shakespearean Elizabethan England, and it's following kind of concerning the death of Christopher Marlowe. They are homosexuals. It looks like a fun time. I've got One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus, which was very popular a while ago when it first came out in 2015. It did recently, I want to say, get a show that features the guy who played Wayne in Wayne, which is why they couldn't make a season 2 of Wayne, because Wayne was busy doing One of Us is Lying. So a little bit of anger there, because Wayne is the best show, and they took it off of Amazon Prime, and it was an Amazon Prime show, and I'm just deeply disturbed because they never gave me an option to buy it on DVD. And I'm a physical media supremacist. You know this, I know this, we all know this. I'm upset about it. Anyway, this was popular for a reason, I'm assuming. I did pick up A Diary of Blood by S.T. Gibson, which is a Dracula thing. I've never read Dracula. I own it. It's in the book wall somewhere, but I haven't read it. Will I read it before I read this? We'll see. Maybe. Yeah. I've heard good things. Alright, then I've got Vigilantes of Love by John Everson, which is 21 Tales of the Dark and Light. He was a Bram Stoker winner, so this should be good. That's my thought. Story of the Eye by Georges Bataille. This is one I've had my eye on for a while. This is French. It's actually from like the 20s. It's extreme horror from the 20s. You're like, oh, there was extreme horror in the 20s, and I'm like, the Marquis de Sade existed. There was extreme horror in the 18th century. But I'm excited about this. Snuff by Eric Ink and Adam Hubert, about snuff film, is my best guess. Phantoms Fill the Southern Skies by Jeff Lawhead. I believe this is also short stories. And then, don't come for me, please. The Homestuck epilogues. Candy, Meat. I never read these. Actually, I started reading them, but I just didn't get through them because I knew there was a printed version. I was like, well, I can just get the printed version. And obviously, Homestuck is something that is very much better suited to the computer because there's like videos and well, they're videos now. They used to be flashes, but then Flash got defunct. And games and stuff like that. The music. If you appreciate Toby Fox now, he began at Homestuck basically, but the epilogues I feel like are different, mostly because they are, if you talk to anybody, bad. Like apparently they just kill people's characters. I am a little leery because I'm a Dirk. Dirk is my most acceptable favorite character in Homestuck. Out of my 3 favorites, Dirk is the most acceptable, which really says a lot, I think. But I am excited to actually sit down and read this because I never have. So we will see how the, oh god, I just opened it up and I see like the light yellow, not light yellow, light orange alt Dirk stuff, and I'm like, okay. ElfQuest Wolfstrider Volume 1. Now we're getting into these ones. I had like a lot of like lots of like anime and comic books, and I really don't have much to say about any of them, so I'm just gonna really kind of go kind of fast. Kingdom Hearts Volume 2. Snow White with the Red Hair Volume 2. Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask. I don't think this is a volume, this just is. Origin, which is, I think, a Wolverine thing. Saga Volume 5. Oh, I did get oh god, they're all falling now. Wellness by Nathan Hill. This is a book of the month. They enticed me back by giving me a free book. That's how they did it. I am, however, a lot pickier about the book of the months I get. Like if I none of them are interesting, I do skip a month. I skipped November. None of them looked interesting. For example, though, when Riley Sager inevitably comes out with a book that they put on book of the month, I'll definitely get that. But you know, yeah, no, November didn't look interesting, so I skipped it. But this is, I believe, this is the book they lured me back with from October. It's like, the wellness industry is always going to interest me, and this just looked fun, and it's pretty thick, which I like. Now this next one, I'm going to say, is even more judge-worthy than the fucking Homestuck epilogues. All right, so I've been interested, you know, like I use TikTok. I'm not like addicted to it or anything, but I'll use it. I'll look at it, especially, you know, as is extremely healthy right before I go to sleep. And a lot of the TikTok I see, okay, there's a lot of Jack Hughes. I'm not gonna lie, there's a lot of Jack Hughes. Recently I've been getting a lot of clips of the movie Freedom Writers, which I've never seen, but it looks like a good movie. But also, you know, there's the book talk, and I love, obviously, horror, and I love, you know, splatterpunk. I kind of hesitate to say I love extreme horror, because extreme horror to me and splatterpunk, though they are theoretically the same genre, they have a much different feel. I did talk about this briefly in my NaNoWriMo vlog, where I think that like splatterpunk is the older stuff. It's stuff from the 70s, 80s, stuff like your Layman's, your Ketchum, stuff like that. And I do think it has a lot more feeling than modern extreme horror does. Extreme horror nowadays, like Beauregard and Watson and who else is big in the extreme horror community? I don't even know. Who's that guy that dedicated a book to a book review, or whatever his name is? I haven't read any of his books, but I would assume that they have the same problem, is that they don't have any passion to it. They're talking about these atrocities, and they're talking, and they might even and they describe them, you know, very, very graphically, but like Clive Barker was real horny. And you could tell, and there was passion in there, you know, like I feel like the current extreme horror is so just violently clinical. Like it's just clinical. Like it will tell you every single thing that happens. And in doing so, it really erases any of the like awe or horror or real like kind of gory feeling. Like you're really getting in there, like wrist deep in gore. And it's just not as good. You know, like I've enjoyed Aaron Beauregard. I kept him on my shelves after I read him. I didn't keep Mike Watts on my shelves, but I do think that just objectively speaking, Aaron Bogart is a better writer than Mike Watson. I don't know how much better. I don't think he's like stellar, and it is sad that his his last name starts with a B. So while he's not directly next to Clive Barker on my shelves, he's like pretty close, and I'm like, do they deserve to be on the same shelf? No. But you know that's the thing. So like Barker and Ellis and Poppy Z, Bright, Exquisite Corpse is beautiful. They all had style. And even stuff like Jack Ketchum and Richard Lehman, they had feeling. They were not just giving us a laundry list. They were doing that, but like they were giving us something more. And this isn't extreme horror or splatterpunk, so I can't even really tell you what I want of that digression. But what it is dark romance. I'm not a romance person. Like I haven't read that many romances, and I get kind of frustrated with them a lot of the times. I don't know. It's just never been my genre. It's just not something that draws me in. I guess I should say get frustrated when I read them because I do generally enjoy. I've read a good number of like YA romances. Adult romance, which has quickly become synonymous with erotica. Like a lot of the time I'm reading, I'm like, I've read better fan fiction than this. Like it's just not good. So I was curious, given my proclivities for horror, extreme horror, I was like, maybe like I'll try it out. And so, being an adult that can handle these things, I don't think we should be giving these things to like, okay, so here's the thing. I do think that people should be able to read whatever the fuck they want. And I do think that if you are, basically, I think the age of 12 is roughly where that's where my parents kind of let me go free. And a lot of the times, if kids are reading things that they don't quite understand, it's just going to go right over their head. Like when I was reading Stephen King at the age of 12 and a lot of the sex stuff, I just didn't. Right over my head. I didn't get it. Or like I was recently rereading Chain Letter 2. And Chain Letter 2 I first read when I was 7 years old. So Chain Letter 2 is a Christopher Pike book. And it follows this group of friends who just like survived this deadly chain letter. And in Chain Letter 2, the chain letter is back, but like people are actually dying this time. And what I remembered from this book was that one of these people got decapitated and one of these people got burned alive. That's what my 7-year-old brain could comprehend. What my 7-year-old brain could not comprehend was the fact that the first chapter is literally just the main character and her boyfriend talking about what they're gonna have sex or not. So like a lot of times kids don't get that, you know? I mean, there are some kids who are immature and can't handle it. But I do think that if kids feel comfortable enough with their adults, with their parents, with whoever they're, you know, trusting, whoever they're living with, whoever that may be, and they're able to talk about these things, obviously, I think they can read whatever the fuck they want. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, this is a lot of lead up for me to say that I bought Haunting Adeline. So this one was big, you know, like this one is like, it's big. And I'm not just talking about size, even though that's too. I know a lot of people are kind of, like miffed about the fact that all these romance books are so thick, but I kind of like, it feels like more bang for my buck, you know, like I like big books. I like them when they're bigger. And so I like that it's big. But no, this one got very popular and I want to know why. I'm going to say, as I was flipping through this, I saw the main character had her mouth taped shut and he said, "I like to hurt you." I'm like, here we go, you know, like I think it's going to be interesting, you know, I think like I'm an adult and I can handle this, you know. I loved Exquisite, like, of course I read Exquisite Corpse, man. Like, I'm not saying Exquisite Corpse is like, okay, no, Exquisite Corpse is kind of, it did get me in some, when the kid, I'm not going to be super specific, when the kid eats the meat out of the refrigerator and you know what that meat is and he doesn't, you're just like, ugh, and he never fucking finds out before he dies. He never finds out. Anyway, back to the books. Exquisite Corpse really, I read that this year and it really affected me as a person, as a writer, as a reader. I just, for the better, I think. Anyway, Saga Volume 3. I got that too. School Live Volume 1. Wotokoi Volume 2. Do I already have Wotokoi? Yeah. But it was in a lot. BTX 11. BTX 1? I think this is 1 or it's 7 with a really stupid font. Seraph of the End Vampire Reign 11. Seraph of the End Vampire Reign 6. Rouge, Girls Love Anthology That Resonates in Your Heart. This is just a one-shot thing. It is explicit. We'll see if it's actually good or if it's just, you know, creepy like Strawberry Panic was. One Punch Man Volume 7. Barakamon Volume 16. This is one I'm actually kind of excited about. This is one that I might go back and start over because I did watch anime when I was in high school and I thought it was really fun. I thought it was really cute. And so I'm excited to actually read this and maybe go back and actually start from the beginning. Dragon Drive Volume 6. Seraph of the End Vampire Reign Volume 4. Death Note Volume 8. And Death Note Volume 7. This is my last stack, and it is also just all manga. So, love that our biggest, you know, what do I want to say? Digression was just me talking about extreme horror and dark romance and children should read. Also, I don't think I've ever showed this off, but I did get the Leatherface baby. I got him off of eBay because he wasn't in any of the Spirit Halloweens I went to, and I really wanted him. And he's hideous, and I love him. I'm just like, I've got 4 Leatherfaces now. I have him, and I got to get the Stomper. But I also have like a Funko Pop and a bobblehead from last year. Anyway, I love Leatherface. He's my favorite slasher. I just love him. So I'm a big man with a chainsaw. It's so fun. I got Karakuro Doji Ultimo Volume 1. Okay. I got Elf Quest The Grand Quest Volume 10. The Best of Pokemon Adventures. The good thing about this is some of the stuff like the Pokemon stuff and the Kingdom Hearts stuff I can put in my classroom because it's younger. If it's rated A for all ages, I'm doing that. But anyway, Akame ga Kill Volume 1. Sword Art Online Progressive Volume 1. This is a light novel. Naruto 48. Throwing it on the ground. Danganronpa Goodbye Despair Volume 2, which is going to be fun to reread. I do, you know, Danganronpa. Like I said, I was a homestuck, and I was a homestuck during the Megapause, and that means that I got into Danganronpa. You know, that's just how it went. Snow White with Red Hair Volume 1. So that's good. I've always wanted to. If I end up liking it, you know, I'll just continue on the series. Akame ga Kill Volume 2. Same with this one. Wow, look at that. Bakemonogatari Volume 1. I am not very familiar with that anime, but I am familiar enough to be a little bit leery. Naruto 27. Elf Quest The Grand Quest Volume 9. Elf Quest Wolf Rider Volume 2. Elf Quest The Grand Quest Volume 11. And finally, Kingdom Hearts. Another one. Kingdom Hearts 2, I guess. So yeah, that is my book haul. If you can see back there, those books that are on that file cabinet, the big stack, not the little stack. That one. Not that one. Those are more books that I have to put in my TBR cart, which is why I had to do this haul right now, basically, because I needed to make room. Because, like I said, I was out of the cart. I was just stacking alongside the cart. So I needed to make room. So I needed to do a book haul tonight, which is why we got some kind of cozy. I got my robe on, wearing my Keanu Reeves shirt. You know, we're vibing here. But yeah, that is that. That's where we're at, you know. Am I looking forward to rebuilding the book wall at the end of the year, like I tried to do, because I get new books that I don't read, and the book closet, I guess. Now at least it's all sorted, so it won't take me 6 hours. It'll still take me about 3 probably. But that's December 31st's problem, not mine. It's my problem on December 31st, but it's not my problem right now. I've still got about a month before I have to do that. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. That's my book haul. I hope you enjoyed. If you read any of these books, I never say this at the end of my videos because I feel like I don't like to guilt people into commenting. But like if you read any of these books and they were good, comment below. If you read Haunting Adeline, and you have anything to say about it, let me know. Because here's the thing, like it's not my genre. I'm not. I've been, you know, kind of interested. You've seen I've hauled a couple other self-published romance recently, but I haven't gone for the big ones, you know, like Haunting Adeline, or anything by Colleen Hoover. I've read a couple Colleen Hoover books. I read Ugly Love, which was terrible, and It Starts With Us, which was fine. Like it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't anything spectacular. I realize I haven't read It Ends With Us, but that's just because I didn't want to. I do have It Ends With Us actually, so we'll read that at some point, but yeah, that is where we are at today. That is all I have for you. I'll talk to you later, and goodbye.